leaves and grass that make up the bulk of the plant men's diet so that they can be easily swallowed. Completing the anatomy is a tail which is round at the base but becomes flat at the tip. The blood of a plant man is green and sticky, resembling syrup. The Ulpan planet men travel in packs, using their broad feet to launch themselves into the air, like the earthly kangaroos. The brain is only slightly larger than the tip of the pinky of an adult human, and is only capable of directing the Ulpan movements and processing what they see and hear. They are incapable of any sort of reasoning, acting only on instinct. Their diet consists of plants and blood from animals. If threatened, they leap into the air and strike their foe with their tails, which are so strong that one blow can crack the skull of a human as if it were an egg. They are very aggressive and will eat humans. There is also a giant algae beds who were a botanical species that evolved sentience in the Vegas system. The algae beds are extremely intelligent, with a highly complex brain. Like many such species, considered to be super brains, they were unable to move around independently. As a consequence, the algae beds had little involvement in the galactic community. Some plants could communicate via intertwined root systems. Plants connect through their roots. They communicate with each other through their roots. Some plants could achieve a fully sentient collective consciousness, with the whole forest. A form of telepathy. Plantoids' primary diet consisted of the sunlight and carbon dioxide. Some trees had crystalline trunks with smoother than glass. Their branches formed a sharp, interlocking web. At nighttime, some trees glowed a green, purple, or blue color. This faded to black if a tree was killed. Some trees also had black leaves. Some plants can't survive being uprooted. If you hook a plant or tree to a Holter monitor, you would see that it has a pulse, a heartbeat, which is dealing with sound. Like we said, they are alive. Trees had a form of collective sentience. Individual trees possessed limited intelligence, but as the tree's roots intertwined, the individual intelligences connected, forming a group mind. Consequently, the greater the number of trees forming part of the collective, the more intelligent the trees became. A total of 7 trees were required for true sentience. Below that number, a tree starts to lose its memories. Plants promoted an ethic called the law of life, according to which only non-sentient plants could be harvested, and even then only if 2 plants were planted for every one that was destroyed in the harvest. The plants ruled benevolently over all the rest of the organisms under them as providers. When the trees communicated, their leaves trembled, hissing words. There are independent plants, meaning they can survive outside of a special soil or container normal plants require to survive. They are 2 of few sentient plants, possessing free will and the ability to use their plant powers whenever they wish. As humanoid plants, the characters display a few distinct characteristics which separate them from the human race. Most plants are feminine. The ratio of male to female in the plant world is 1 male for every 10 females. 1 male plant can mate with a lot of female plants. Plants shows an extended lifespan beyond the reach of ordinary humans. Plants can live for over 1,000 years. It is also notable that at the beginning of their lifespan they age very quickly, growing close to the size of an adolescent in a single year, and once they age to adulthood, they seem to not age at all. Some plant races also have a higher IQ than most human beings and are more intelligent than humans. They have the ability to communicate telepathically. The tree race exhibit the ability to generate incredibly powerful weapons from their bodies. Some tree races are dangerous carnivorous plants, about the size of a large sagebrush. Each of its branches terminates in a set of powerful jaws. It has been known to trap even large predators. With an advanced level of control over their plant ability, the plants gains the ability to merge and manipulate plant energies. Plants can increase matter and mass to increase their own powers throughout the universe. We collected all of the DNA from the plants to create an ark. This ark is called the Atlantis Fleet, which is one of our laboratory ships. We recruited plant races to bring to Earth after the crash. Most of the plant life on your planet was brought here. Some are GMOs made by us the Rizkins millions of years ago. We made GMOs or hybrid plants, to breathe and survive on Earth. Now your scientists have learned this and now are engineering for the bad side. They are also trying to genetic engineer humans with vaccines. One of the 23 races that make up the human DNA is the plant beings. Your pineal gland is from plants. Which is why it looks like a pine cone, from the pine tree. Your veins are like vines and map out like a tree. There are plants on Mars and Earth that make milk. The Mantalia, often referred to as the milk plant, is a large species of tree, or bush, that is native to Mars. They appear to look like rocks from far off, but they are living beings. About 3 to 12 feet in height, and covered in thick overhanging foliage, it can be found in groves along the Dead Sea bottoms. It grows practically without water and, as the nickname implies, seems to distill a plentiful supply of milk-like sap from its trunk or stomp out of the products of the soil, the moisture of the air, and the rays of the sun, serving as a staple in the diets of the green humanoid Martian race. A single specimen of this species will give 8 or 10 quarts of milk per day, 4 gallons of highly nutritious milk a day, every day, from which the people on Mars population then creates a solid substance of the consistency of cheese, which is almost tasteless, though slightly acid. There is food in Mars soil called the ochre plant. The natives use it to make cakes and flat bread on Mars. It looks like a rock as well but is high on nutrients that they need. A ochre, yellow, colored moss covers much of the surface of Mars. It is the primary source of food for the Thoids and Zetidars, nourishing them and hydrating them. This also grows on Earth as well. Ochre, or ochre in American English, is a natural clay earth pigment which is a mixture of ferric oxide and varying amounts of clay and sand. It ranges in color from yellow to deep orange or brown. It is also the name of the colors produced by this pigment, especially a light brownish yellow. A variant of ochre containing a large amount of hematite, or dehydrated iron oxide, has a reddish tint known as red ochre, or, in some dialects, ruddle. The word ochre also describes clays colored with iron oxide derived during the extraction of tin and copper. A large flowering bush known to be found in the humanoid red Martian gardens, and growing in profusion in every depression of the hills that held Mars' scant moisture the longest. It seems to come in 2 varieties, a small type found in gardens, small enough to be trampled by human feet, and a large variety found in red Martian gardens. The gorgeous blossom of the Pimalia produces a fragrant oil. Slender purple grasses found in the forests topped with red and yellow fern-like fronds grow to the height of several feet above a man's head. The red sword is a type of Martian grass, red in color. It is found mostly in fertile regions such as the Valley d'Or, where it is a known food source of the plant men the ulpan, and the cities of red humanoids who keep it well groomed in lawns. The word sword means lawn, turf, or soil. Skeel is a Martian hardwood tree, used in the construction of everything from housing to furniture. The skeel tree also produces a large tasty nut. The Serapis tree from Mars is known for having succulent fruit encased in a hard nut shell. The plant is also noted as having some sort of bloom. The Sampus tree is a fruit-bearing Mars plant. The fruit is citrus with thick red rind, the pulp of which is called sam. The fruit tastes like a grapefruit, but it is much sweeter. It is considered a delicacy among the red-skinned humanoid Martians and can be found grown along the canals. The humanoid race on Mars was left behind from the experiment called the Atomma project done by us the Rizkins. We were making different types of humans and the leftovers stayed on Mars. The ushet is a fruit native to Mars. Although it is very bland when eaten plain, most Martians prefer it roasted and put heavily spiced. It is highly nutritious and grows with very little irrigation, and thus is a staple in the diets of lower-class Martians and soldiers. Among the soldiers, it has acquired a nickname that translates loosely to the fighting potato. The Brokels are a race native to Venus. That John Carter wrote about in his novels. He also wrote about the things about Mars. Being one of the races that inhabit the northern hemisphere, they are entirely unknown in the southern hemisphere. They have green skin and absolutely no hair. On top of their heads there is a knot that remains from their birth, somewhat similar to a belly button. The females of the species give birth to a single nut which a tree grows from. Tiny brokels grow like fruit upon the tree. The vast majority of these young plants are eaten by Gepals, a bird race native to Venus. They do drink the blood of warm-blooded creatures including humans. The Brokels are the only group of people upon Venus to have actually developed a religion in any sense. Their religion was focused on a woman that they called Lodo el Hoganja Kumoraj, which literally translates into Most High Woman of the Fire. Not much is known about her. They worshipped her because she supposedly fell from the fire that surrounds all of Venus plant races. She was the queen who brought their people to Venus millions of years ago. They believed that she is their creator. They would perform ritual sacrifices to her. The Florians are a plant race native to the planet Florian. They are the flower people. The Florians are one of the 7 original races in the star system Vega, and one of the 6 races entrusted with ancient artifacts. Plant-based humanoids, they are extremely violent carnivores with no central government or power structure, split into numerous tribes spread across the universe, each led by a green finger. Green finger is the title given to special Florian who serve as their tribe's leader. Only one green finger or green fingers is born to a tribe at any time. Most of the green fingers are females. Despite the Florians' brutal culture, green fingers are rarely the strongest hunters among the tribe. They are instead more intelligent and patient than the average Florian, and bear a unique gift, the ability to mentally manipulate and control other plant life. Most importantly, they can do so in a manner that allows their plants to interact with higher technology, rendering machines as complex as teleporters usable and reproducible by the Florians. Thanks to this gift, even young and inexperienced green fingers are revered by the rest of the tribe, and their commands are obeyed, though sometimes grudgingly, as green fingers tend to gently push the stubborn Florian towards being more civilized, or at least distract them away from their more olent tendencies, which doesn't always sit well with the impulsive plant people. Florians are a race of intelligent, aggressive plant humanoid people. We introduce space travel to the primitive Florians. The Florians were disagreeable, malevolent beings. Having Florian colonies spanning across many different star systems, each with their own customs and levels of aggression. Despite this, individual Florians have been known to split apart from their society to lead their own lives in isolation or in the middle of other races, at the cost of being cut off from the collective and considered enemies of all flora for good. Though a unisex race, Florian culture values survival through reproduction and expansion over environmentalism or any perceived bond to Mother Nature. Cannibalism during funeral rituals and wars with rival factions are commonplace, though it remains unclear whether it's out of conservation or simple tradition. Their aggressive nature appears to be born from a lack of a concept of non-plant life as opposed to outright contempt. Owing to their relatively young age as a species, this tenet dominates their culture and justifies their treatment of visiting races, though there are signs of some beginning to question this, implying that Florian individuals might not be inherently evil as previously thought. One would expect a race of sentient humanoid plants to be peaceful, nature-loving environmentalists. That presumption is what allows this hyper-aggressive tribal civilization to thrive. Unwitting explorers are prey of choice to the carnivorous Florians, who frequently salvage or reverse engineer the technology they bring to enable their colonization of their star system and eat the pilots. There are many different types of plant beings on many different planets, like we said. The Phylogians were a species of sentient plants who were native to a planet they called Phylos. Phylos was an inhabited planet in the Alpha Quadrant. This was the home world of the Phylogians, a non-humanoid warp-capable species. This was also the home of swoopers and red-law plants. This planet is located in the Vega star system of the Milky Way galaxy. The infinite Vulcan, Phylos was a unique planet in that it had developed several species of mobile intelligent plant life. One of these species, known as the Phylogians, had evolved into a technologically advanced, interstellar civilization. The Phylogens had set about the task of enforcing peace in the Milky Way galaxy. Their mothership is 20 miles long and capable of FTL. They had built an armada of large Phylogen starships and intended to use them for this task. The Phylogens developed into a technologically advanced civilization. They had a naturally long lifespan, which was further extended by their greatly advanced medical science. At some point in their history, the Phylogens set about the task of enforcing peace in the galaxy. They joined the galactic family of life in the mission. They built a fleet of large Phylogen starships, intending to use them for this task, but other events intervened. The dog beings from Sirius B were taken from their home star. They were taken to the Vega star system, where they were bred/DNA slice with plants. This created a plant dog type being called the Thuanithi. The Thuanithi, also called Whorls, are plant beings mixed with the dog beings. They come from the planet Thuaki. They also live on 7 other planets. They are sapient ceratopsian quadrupeds. They have bristly fur on their shoulders and back, while natural armor plating covered their head, joints, and vital organs. Even where there was no armor, their skin was thick and leathery, offering natural protection. Those that had dealings with other species generally wore clothing, while others did not. Keep in mind a lot of mixing was going on in the galaxy. Plants mixed with different races. Like we said, the Sluisi are a plant race who mixed with snake beings, reptilians. They were humanoid from the waist up, but have snake-like tails below the waist. They are disagreeable and worked and fought with Halal and his people. They have long been supporters of the Republic, and have shared their technology freely with other member planets. They were known as a plodding, methodical race which had an easygoing attitude and never seemed to get excited. They can get up to 14 feet tall and can weigh up to 150 to 700 pounds. They are carnivores and will eat humans. The ancient Banyan Grove trees are a race of beings that come from the planet Banya in the Vega star system. As a single tree, it is an enormous tree that stands in the middle of the foggy swamp with a root system stretching for many miles. Over time, the tree's roots will spread across the entirety of the swamp and create shoots which will propagate an entire forest of new trees. The Banyan Grove tree and the swamp are protected by the Hu people, who are fifth-dimensional air beings. A planet spirit called the Adokirana is a seed of the Tree of Souls that lives on Earth, Nabu and most of the planets in the Vega star constellation. These seeds, according to the Nabuians, they are very pure and sacred spirits. Furthermore, these seeds are believed to be auspicious wheresoever they choose to rest. They are similar in appearance to small deep-sea jellyfish, but they float on the wind like dandelion seeds, aided in this by the denser atmosphere on the planet. Planet spirit also hold ritual importance. The Omadakea clan plants one of these seeds with the body of a deceased on Nabu, so the native's consciousness will become part of Iwa. Iwa is the guiding force and deity of Nabu and the native. The Dark Fleet have been to Nabu. This is how they're able to make the movie about it. Don't be slow, it is a trick call hidden in plain sight. Nabu is one of the closest planets to Earth. The native believe that Iwa acts to keep the ecosystem of Nabu in perfect equilibrium. The native are feline beings mixed with Hindus, we will get into that later. All living things on Nabu connect to Iwa through a system of neuroconductive antennas. This often explains why natives can mount their dire horse or mountain banshee steeds and ride them immediately without going through the necessary steps required to domesticate such wild animals. The Tree of Time is an ancient tree located in the spirit world, centered between the 2 spirit portals that lead to the north and south poles of the mortal realm. The Tree of Life symbolizes the generations of your family. A tree sprouts from a seed, grows and branches out, sees how far it can go, and then creates a new fruit that gives life to the next generation, to begin a new thing. Tree of Life symbolism has a long history, crossing many cultures. The Tree of Life also symbolizes family through its intricate network of branches, showing us the continuity through all generations. We are connected through ever-expanding branches to our parents and grandparents and to our children and our children's children. When trees are young, they pretty much all look the same. But, as they grow older, they weather storms and are battered by the forces of wind and water. One time I healed a man who was blind, and when his sight came back, I asked him, "Can you see now?" He said yes, but everyone looked like trees. The tree has roots that reach deeply into the soil, acknowledging its connection to, and accepting nourishment from, Mother Earth. Leaves and branches extend into the sky, acknowledging Father Sun and accepting the energy that it transforms into nourishment.